Conversations are beautiful. Authentic conversations are beautiful. Vulnerable conversations are beautiful. We've gotten away from that. We have gotten so conditioned to show up in so many spaces with this script in our head of what we will allow and what we won't allow that we don't allow the curiosity that I talked about to have its moment to shine. Today on Adjusting, we are talking about another cognitive distortion, fortune telling. Have you ever gone into a job interview or an audition or gone on a first date or just your regular day to day things and you've already predicted the outcome? You told yourself before anything ever happened it's going to be bad. That's what we're talking about today, fortune telling. So, we're going to start by addressing the issue, defining what it is, labeling it, and then we're going to make some adjustments, and then we're going to find some ways to apply healthy things to help us from preventing this way of thinking. So, I hope you're ready because today's episode is going to be intense. Sit back, relax, and welcome to Adjusting. And we're back with another episode of Adjusting with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Y'all, this season, y'all loving it. And I am happy. I am happy that so many people are seeing themselves in these cognitive distortions, but also seeing where they can incorporate practices, make time to pause, really identify things that are holding them back. And that's just like my overall goal with this platform and this podcast is to help you make adjustments, whether it's through anxiety, whether it's through making time and forming a healthy routine, just pinpointing things and really finding ways to label things in your life. I personally feel that the use of labels is a healthy way to start a healing practice so that you are able to name it, identify the root now that you have a name, and then find a way to heal it. So we're going to name it, identify the root, and heal it. I'll find a better way to frame that framework, but again, we had the pyramid, and now we're gonna have this. I like it. So anyway, welcome back. This episode is about the cognitive distortion of fortune telling. I sound country. Fortune telling. Thank you. I said telling, but telling with a G at the end. Great. So if you're new here, hi. This is a mental health podcast that I started a year ago, 2 years ago. I forgot. It's been a while. But I did this as a way to share what I'm learning through therapy and do more research to bring it back to people who are new to therapy, who are in therapy, but you and your therapist haven't got to this. I'm not trying to be a replacement for therapy, okay? I am more of a guided additional study or additional information to take back to your therapist or someone and say, I heard this on a podcast. I want to know more about this. Now, I never, in future goals, sure, become a therapist, help people make changes, yes. But right now, I'm not licensed. I wanted to make that abundantly clear. Okay, I'm going through things just like the next person. I am reading things. I told my therapist, I think I'm coming to a point where I probably have to take a break from therapy because I've become too self-aware and I'm able to problem solve a lot of things myself. But I still do need a therapist. So I might be on a pause from therapy for a while, which is not a bad thing. So anyway, we start each episode with a guided meditation and deep breaths just so that we are both on the same wavelength for this episode, that you have enough space to take in this information and that is received in a headspace of acceptance and recognition, and you are able to be vulnerable with yourself for however long this episode is, and you can say, wow, Justin sees me, he gets it. And if you don't, you can pause it and you can say, I'm gonna come back to this later. I'm not ready to be victimized and called out and exposed. But if you are driving, focus on the road. And if you are home or in a space where you can take a deep breath and check in, I invite you to do so now. So we're going to do our 4-7-8 breathing. So you're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and release on us for 8. Okay. So plant your feet, relax your ankles, relax your calf muscles, relax your knees, your thighs, your hips, relax your stomach, relax your heart or your chest. Sorry. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax your chin, your cheeks, your eyebrows, your forehead. Close your eyes. And we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8. Let's begin. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Now, this next breath, let it all out. This next breath, we're just going to take a basic inhale and exhale just to get out anything that is holding you back. Okay? Breathe in and out. Great. So let's dive in. Okay, so fortune telling. What does that sound like to you? Is it calling Miss Cleo back in the day, or is it like a Akashic record reading and you're saying, hey, I want to connect with my ancestors and open my personal book to see what the universe has in alignment? Is it astrology? Are you basing things off your zodiac signs? Or is it simply anxiety creating, again, a worst case scenario and you automatically predicting the outcome based off past experiences? So that's what we're talking about with fortune telling. It's a thinking pattern where you've predicted that things will turn out badly and you're absolutely convinced you're right. This comes up in so many areas of our lives, to the point where we rob ourselves of so many experiences and learning experiences. And it's probably the reason some of us are stuck in these quote unquote toxic cycles. We never get to experience the lows to really catapult us into higher highs. For example, you go into a job interview and you automatically say, oh, the energy was off in the room, so I know I didn't get that, or they were being sexist or racist or fat phobic, and so I know automatically know that it wasn't for me. This company was never a good fit for me. When in actuality, that was never the case. Or we go into an audition. I know this is primarily notorious for so many people. And I want to say 7 out of 10 times we're right, but again, fortune telling is a thing. We go into an audition and we look at the casting notice. We look at the casting notice and we say, they ain't looking for nobody black. They not looking for no, but I'm gonna go in anyway. But I know they're not gonna cast me. 7 out of 10 times we're right. Right. So you go into the room, and it's sad that the industry has gotten to a point where, and this kind of goes back to the job interview example I just shared. Like, you may think they were being racist or sexist or fat phobic. Sometimes, stay with me. You remind them of someone they don't like, and the thought of having to work with you or see you in a space consistently makes them annoyed, and then you can't have the job. Again, we're talking about fortune telling. I'm just giving you some real raw examples that I have heard. I have never experienced that one, but other things have come up. So there's also the concept of dating. Okay. And I know me. I can speak from experience. Justin G. Nelson, fortune telling with Virgos, baby, dating a Virgo as a Cancer. And again, this is where I talk about like zodiac and stuff. I fortune tell. I tell myself being a Virgo ain't gonna work. And this is a traumatic experience. This is me allowing trauma to tell the story, my anxiety to say, you tried a Virgo once, it didn't go well. Virgos are full of themselves, okay? And they feel that it's their way or the highway. Baby, skirt. I'm in the car. I'm speeding, okay? Anytime a Virgo pops up. Or you could be in a situation to where you start to see the flags, but they aren't really red flags. They're the flags that you put up with, or the flags that you've seen in other partners that you felt that you could fix because you're a people pleaser, or you're a fixer, or you have that childhood wound to where you can mold people just like, you're a little damaged. I know that I have what it takes to make this work, but then on the flip side, it's still your nervous system like, this is not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. And then you start to realize that this is really not going to work, and then you end up in the same situation. But then there's that one lucky person who makes you see the green flags, or they're that Labrador, that puppy, that bird. These are a lot of TikTok jargon, but it's like they actually do the good things, but because you have wired yourself to automatically see the bad in these relationships or first dates or anything like that, that you allow fortune tellers to say, no, this is too good to be true. This person is not for me. They are. I notice that sometimes in dating, we show up as one version of ourselves, like this real put together polish. I cross all my T's and dot all my I's. I put a period here. I actually use a semicolon properly and all these things. And then the AAVE pop up and you just like, not really. I lied to you. Boop, got you. Yeah. And that's how fortune telling works sometimes. Like we see something good, too good to be true, and then we sabotage it. And then in family dynamics, we're talking about families today. You need to set a boundary with the family member. Basically, your thought, they're gonna freak out. I'm gonna cause some tension in the family. We're gonna have a fight, but you're so convinced that a disaster is gonna happen that you have put yourself on the back burner. Okay, families are fun. Families are also chaotic, and some families are built off lies and secrets. And I talked about this in season 2, I think, how the whole notion of what happens in this house stays in this house is a very toxic thing that I know a lot of Black families do. Whew. Yeah. So after you've convinced that you set the boundary, you're not talking to this person anymore, and all these things, and you feel in your head that you're going to be the black sheep, they're not going to respect you or whatever, that prediction becomes a pattern. You see what I'm talking about? We are already predicting things to happen, and our anxiety, we're making anxiety the truth and not a thought. We're giving too much weight to anxiety. For creatives, like, and not even just performers, but like people. my friend Larissa. Okay, she just launched her Etsy store, and she been putting this off for a while because she thought in her head. Now I'm shouting Larissa out because I know she listened, and I really appreciate her support. And I'm gonna tell the good with the bad. Okay, so she had been putting off this digital product for like 2 months. She came up with it, and then she was like, "Ain't nobody gonna buy it, girl." And I said, "Larissa, you haven't even put it out there." She was like, "I know, but I didn't to go buy it." But give yourself the opportunity to fail before you've made the concept of failure, you know? And now she put it out there. And y'all better go support her, okay? She's an editor. So if you are a writer or know someone who's a writer, go buy her stuff on Etsy. Thank you. She's the Ghost Write Her. Like WRITHER. It's clever. I love it. Great. But a lot of times, as creatives, we fall into this perfectionism trap. I know you can relate to it. Okay, I know. And you're working on something and you're like, the lighting has to be this, and I'm going to use a 60 watt here, and the color hue has to be this, but I'm missing this part. So now everything's going to be a failure because this one part is missing and people are going to notice it. Ain't nobody notice it. Okay? Ain't nobody noticing a damn thing. My bookshelf behind me look a hot mess. You think I care? Y'all not reading books, okay? So I don't care about how this look. You better get what I'm putting down. That's what I'm concerned about, okay? But you're so fixated on preventing a predicted failure that you overthink, you over edit, and you drain all the love, the passion, the purpose, the joy out of the product to where it's just a product and it's not a gift. It's not something that you've birthed. It's now it's now that trap gas that finally came out and you're just like, ugh, here I am. Even at work, you have new projects, new opportunities, and you automatically think, well, I'm not gonna be good at this. Yeah, I'm a tank the company, and it's gonna be my fault. I'm gonna get fired. Then I'm gonna have to go work at Marshalls and sell sand and fog cologne and organize everything. You haven't even signed the contract, and you're sabotaging yourself. Man, that has to be exhausting. The amount of energy we give to anxiety is exhausting. It has to be. To these fake scenarios we create, to these situations that never happen. It's like a mixture of all the things. We have the mental filtering, disqualifying the positive, fortune telling. Baby, if we could fortune now, and stay in the now, we'd be a lot more happy people. I'm still on the examples. Anyway, you're invited to a networking event, a gathering, a party, and you automatically say, well, no one knows me. So I'm not really going to make any connections. I'm going to be out of place. I don't have enough followers on TikTok. I don't have this, that, and the other together. So I need to go back home. I need to go work. And I know I do this a lot. I'm just like, I'm not organized. I don't have this, and this together. So, Justin, shut up. Just go. Just go. You don't know. And I did this. I went to an event. It was for Brooklyn Tea. They're not a sponsor yet, but I go there a lot. Anyway, I went to Brooklyn Tea. They had a mixer to launch their. Um, they have a kiosk now. I think at Gate D in the JFK airport, and I went to the event. Ain't know nobody. I knew Jamila and I knew Ali. I was going to support them. And I'm sitting there, I was dressed. Okay. I walked in the room. And that's one thing about being black. I read this, I think it was an article or something about how black people, we put that shit on. Okay. We walk into a room like Bob the drag queen says. We walk into a room purse first. Okay. We go in with our best foot forward because of trauma. Like we come into a room dressed up because we don't want anyone to judge us off first look. So we give the best first impression. And so I did that. I didn't want people to just like, who is this dude? He's so full of himself. I am. I am. I'm full of myself because I'm full of ideas. I'm full of potential and I deserve to be in this space. And it worked. I made some connections. And here I am, still connecting with people. But overall, why do we do this? Why do we jump to the cognitive distortion of fortune telling? So, reason number one is the illusion of control. If we know what will happen or what's going to happen, our nervous system has a chance to put up a wall, to put up a shield of protection, and protect us from any hurt, harm, or danger that is coming our way because we have already conditioned ourselves for the worst. That has to be exhausting. Second thing, past experiences and pattern recognition. So I talked about that with like the dating scenario, talked about that with the audition scenario, but past experiences create a condition to where our nerves, our body, we go into this fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, and we just like we know what's going to happen. It's happened before. It's nothing's going to change until it does. But for now, we've already predicted this is not going to go the way we want it to go. Anxiety, hypervigilance. If you grew up in an unpredictable or chaotic environment, your nervous system learned to scan for danger immediately. You go into a networking event just like if you're from Memphis, you go into a party, it's like I don't know, they might start fighting. I need to find all the exits. Okay, I need to become best friends with the security guard. I need to see what table I can hide up under. Are my shoes runnable? Like you already start going into those moments. Or you have low esteem, low self esteem, and a negative self concept. So I'm going to slow down with this one because a lot of people deal with low self esteem, but they put that shit on a little too hard, and it comes across as just too much. You're like you're doing the most. But if you don't believe you're worthy of good things, your brain predicts bad outcomes to match that belief. So good things happen. Good things don't happen to me. I don't deserve success. I always mess things up. Fortune telling becomes a way to confirm when you already believe what you already believe about yourself. You're not actually predicting the future. You're projecting your own negative self image onto it. And the last reason, you're avoiding vulnerability. Some people just don't like to be vulnerable. Some people have made this rough, hard, I don't need nobody personality their image. Like that's just who they are. Hope is vulnerable though. Trying is vulnerable. Failure is vulnerable. Mistakes shows vulnerability. Yeah. Believing something could go wrong is vulnerable. You predict failure, you don't have to risk hoping. If you expect the worst, you don't have to put yourself out there. It's a form of emotional self protection. I can't be hurt if I never believed it would work anyway, but you're also robbing yourself of joy. And those experiences I talked about at the beginning of the episode, we rob ourselves of so many experiences. Like if I go to a dance class and I say I know this class is gonna be hard, I don't know that. I don't know how the teacher is going to teach in a way that allows me to pick up choreography in a better way. I don't know how my body's gonna be like reacting to if it's gonna be like, oh, muscle memory is kicking in, or I'm more limber than I thought. Like we rob ourselves of so many experiences. Like even in the bookish space, like, oh, this book is not my style, so I'm not gonna enjoy the conversation. But if you are in a good book club, like my book club, if you're in a good book club in a bookish space to where you can go, oh, I didn't think about it that way. Wow, great, cool. I like it here. Great. But instead of sabotaging it, you find joy. So, how does it show up in the body though? Like, how do you feel fortune telling creeping up in your nervous system and stuff? There are signs. There are signs. So, your body responds to your prediction as it's already happening. Your heart starts racing. Your chest gets tight. You start sweating. Okay, your stomach started hurting, your shoulders started rising up, your ankle swell. I'm kidding, but there are signs, as with any type of anxiety or some anxiety attack. So your nervous system, when you predict disaster, your nervous system activates. Your body goes into fight or flight mode. Always, it always goes fight or flight, and the threat isn't real. It might never be real, but because you've conditioned your body to feel like it's real, you're ready to go. You're ready to fight. Okay? It's exhausting. And you keep living in this trauma cycle that has never happened. A lot of this, though, is rooted in childhood trauma. I know. Everything always, usually, 10 times out of 10, go back to your childhood. It does. It does. And it's that unpredictability and the chaos in the environment. If you grew up in an environment where bad things happen, suddenly without warning, you're just like, huh, what was that? Like why are they fighting? Why are y'all fighting at this family function? Like, no, I thought family was love. Now family's fighting. Who do that? You know? Or your brain learned I need to see it coming so I'm not caught off guard. Predicting disaster as if it was a survival skill. And then you have repeated disappointments. Okay, so when the mom or the dad doesn't show up to your events, you're just like, well, I don't need support. Yeah, you do. You need a little support. You need a little support. Or criticism and high standards. Okay, so you weren't born with the level of perfectionism. It was ingrained in you by your parents or whatever educational system you were in. So you went to private school or whatever, like your teachers or your parents or your peers or whoever raised you. Okay, I don't know your life, but they put this level of standard ingrained in you. And if you felt you didn't reach that standard, you were letting down everybody. You were letting down Obama, and he wasn't even president yet. Okay, but no, like those high standards and everything, just it creates a crippling effect for your nervous system, and it causes you to think. I have to go above and beyond. Like the bare minimum is an A. I have to get an A plus plus. Okay, and if I don't get that, I'm a failure. Conditional love and approval. Some people didn't get hugs, and it shows. Okay, some people didn't get a gold sticker, and I'm gonna go buy you a sheet of stickers so that you can feel appreciated. Okay, go star, because a lot of people you weren't the line leader. My God, and I feel bad for you. You learned that failure equals rejection. Okay, you learned that if you didn't get a Valentine's Day card in the classroom because the parent didn't buy enough, but now you taking it personal because you didn't get one, they just cheap. Okay, they waited until the day before, the morning of, on the way to the drop off line. They were at Walgreens. Mm-hmm. Buying and sticking, and you didn't get one. But now every new situation feels like a test. You're going to fail. Fortune telling, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to lose their approval, their love, their acceptance. I'm going to let them down. Whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, a teacher, a parent, you just like, I'm never going to be enough. Because you didn't receive those gifts, you're just like, I'm going to be left out forever. And I'm sorry. I really am. Because I know people who went through that. And I think that's why I'm just nice to everybody to a fault. Because some of y'all use these pity parties as a way to get attention, and then you turn into the devil. You manipulative son of a. You're predicting outcomes based on old wounds, not current realities. So I have more of these on Substack. However, let's move to section 2 because we've been addressing this for a while. Adjusting. So how do we adjust to the cognitive distortion of fortune telling? Notice the patterns. You have to notice the thing. So here's where the shift starts. Great. So section 2, adjusting, noticing the pattern. So here's where we start to this shift, okay? You can't change what you don't see. So stop trying to change stuff that ain't happened yet, okay? The first step is catching yourself mid-prediction. If you walk into a room just like, this ain't it, just walk into the room. Take a minute to just take in the space. How does it feel? How does it look? What are they wearing? What kind of piano are they playing? What do I have on? If you cloud your head with those thoughts and not the outcome, I bet your auditions go a lot better. I bet they would. Once you start paying attention, you'll be amazed at how often you do this. Your brain is consistently writing disaster scripts, one line at a time. But we are going to be screenwriters by the end of this episode. Okay, we're going to change the script. We are going to make the outcome, the end of this 10 episode series amazing. Okay? They're going to be fighting over you. Well, they're fighting now. Warner Brothers and Disney and all of them people are fighting. So we're going to stay out of that fight. But we're going to Tubi. Nobody bothers Tubi. We're going to be on Tubi. So the pause practice. Roll your shoulders back. We're getting into work. Okay. So the next time you have a thought that starts with I'm going to or this is going to and it's negative, pause. Pause. So this is going to stop. Stop. Record scratch. Before you spiral into preparing for that predicted outcome, just notice I'm doing that thing again. I'm fortune telling right now. I need to be in the moment. Do I actually know if this is happening or am I predicting failure? This is all we're doing in this pause practice. Okay, we're pausing. We're being in the moment. We're gonna like the that's so Raven moment. You're gonna go and you're going to come back to it. Okay? That's it. Just awareness, just being present. Okay? So just try that for a week. Write down, I did that thing again where I fortune tell. I went into a networking event. I read the room. The room read me. I automatically assumed the worst. I'm sorry. It's actually turned out to be a great event. Those journals are coming, by the way. Those journals are coming. So again, this shows up in the body. You see physical red flags. Your body starts reacting to the predicted future before you're actually formed a thought. Your pre-disaster feeling. It's like your body's already in that bad moment. Your stomach drops like you're falling and your heart starts racing and you get these tension headaches and you start like chewing your jaw and all these other things. Like those are physical things. Just pause. Just pause. Go get some water. Drink some water. Hydration is important if you feel like you are going, because you have to trick your mind to go another way. Connecting with your younger self. That's another thing we're going to do to adjust from fortune telling. Okay. So let's get curious about where this started. This is a little tender. Okay. But this is important because we have to get to the root in order to change the flower. Sorry, it's a little churchy, but your fortune telling isn't random. It came from somewhere real. Word to heart this morning. When did I first learn that I needed to predict bad outcomes to protect myself? What happened when I hoped for something good as a child? Was I disappointed or let down? Did I have adults in my life who were unpredictable? Did I need to see problems coming to feel safe? Was I criticized or punished when I made mistakes? Did I learn that failure was unacceptable? And the last question to think about, what was I trying to prevent by becoming a fortune teller? So let's reframe with compassion. The younger version of you who learned to predict disaster, they were trying to survive. Okay, they were trying to be a child full of joy, but there came these unpredictable things that cause fear in their body. If you couldn't control what happened, at least you could try to see what was coming. It was brilliant, it was adaptive, it was protective, but here's what you get to tell yourself now. I don't need to predict every disaster. Okay? I can handle what comes. I don't have to live in a future that doesn't exist yet. Remind yourself you're not broken. Okay? You are a puzzle being put together piece by piece. Every episode, every lived experience, every opportunity is that puzzle piece of your mental health and your nervous system coming back together to make a whole you. Okay? We are puzzles, putting our shit back together to make it beautiful again. And then we're going to frame it because we're going to be whole. Great. And then from there, we have to challenge the pattern. So, reality test your thoughts. Write down the prediction and then write down what's actually happening right now. Prediction: I am going to bomb this interview and everyone will think I am incompetent. What's actually true right now? I have an interview for the job that I know I am right for, and I am going to own it, and I'm going to make them give me a raise immediately. Okay, I am going to own this space. We're not giving room for disaster or anything anymore. We're only giving room for what is happening, what is true, and what I can't control. And that is showing up, that is being prepared, that is leading with love, that is leading with my truth, and that is walking in purpose. Those are the things you can control, basically. Everything else, bullshit. So stop sabotaging your future in the now. Okay. Notice the impact. So pay attention to what happens when you act on predictions. You predict you will fail. You don't try as hard, or you don't try at all, and then you don't succeed. Or you predict the conversation will go badly. You approach it defensively, and it actually does go bad because of your energy. You predict the event will be awful. You show up tense and closed off. You have a bad time. Your predictions often create the reality you feared because you have conditioned your mind it will go a certain way. Is this making sense? Nod your head. Okay, good. When you notice this, you start to interpret it. Okay? So here's a test. This is a thing called What Would I Tell a Friend test. If your friend said to you, I'm going to fail at this, I just know it, what would you say? Are you the good friend that's going to say, it ain't even happened yet, so why are you tripping? Why are you acting like this? You probably would say, you don't know that, you're anxious, but that doesn't mean it won't work out. So why are you holding yourself to a different standard? Be your best friend first, okay? Tell yourself, shut up. It ain't even happened yet. Why you overreacting? Do it. Tell yourself, say, shut up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now how you feel. Exactly. So remember, you're writing the story. I am writing the story. This is a reminder. Literally say to yourself, I am writing a story about the future right now, and I'm making it a tragedy. You're the author. You can put the pen down, write with a pencil, or type it so you can erase it. But you don't have to finish writing that script, okay? You can say, I don't know how this will go, but it's going to be a happy ending, okay? I'm going to come out on top. Because I control it. Exactly. So the bottom line is you're not going to stop fortune telling overnight. Okay. That's going to take some serious work. Going to take a lot of rewiring with the neuroplasticity we talked about. But every time you catch it, every time you reality test or you do a best friend check-in with yourself and you choose to stay in the present instead of a predicted future, you're building new pathways. Yes. You're teaching your brain you don't have to know how everything will turn out. We can just show up and find out. All right. That's where freedom lives. It's in the not knowing, in the trying anyway, in the trusting that you'll handle what comes. So, how do we apply this? How do we apply these things? Number one, we're going to build this toolkit, okay? So, what you can shift. Present moment awareness. So practice staying in what's actually happening instead of what might happen. So if you're planning an event, if you're planning a trip, if you're looking at auditions, if you are getting back into dating, focus on the now. Okay, don't be trying to plan your wedding or say no one's going to attend this conference or no one's going to do this, that, or the other. Stay here. Stay with me. Great. Reality testing habit. Challenge predictions with evidence. Nervous system regulation. Soothe the anxiety that drives fortune telling. So, across the areas in relationships, when you catch yourself predicting this conversation is going to be a disaster, pause and ask, do I actually know that or am I just afraid? Conversations are beautiful. Authentic conversations are beautiful. Vulnerable conversations are beautiful. We've gotten away from that. We have gotten so conditioned to show up in so many spaces with this script in our head of what we will allow and what we won't allow that we don't allow the curiosity that I talked about to have its moment to shine. There might be things that you didn't know you wanted to know about a person or a person is interested in, but because it wasn't on your script or your list of must haves, that you've ruined everything because you told your future self that, well, if they don't have this is a deal breaker. That's why you're single now. But anyway, have the conversation anyway, sorry, and notice what actually happens. It's almost never as bad as you predicted. Practice saying, I don't know how this will go, and I'm willing to find out. Great. In your creative work, when you predict your project will fail before you've even started, name it. I'm fortune telling. Ask yourself, what if I created this without deciding its outcome first? What if I just created it? What if I just started writing, started typing, started dancing, just created the piece without an expectation or an outcome? What if I just make it? What if I just needed to move to get this out of my body? Start the project anyway. Test the prediction by actually doing the thing. When you're about to share your work and you predict rejection, remind yourself, I don't actually know how people are going to receive this. I'm making this shit up again. Share it anyway. Let the outcome surprise you. Stop writing the reviews before the work is even released. Stop writing the reviews before the work is even released. Okay? Rotten Tomato. At work, when you're offered an opportunity, you immediately predict failure. Pause and ask, what if I tried and it went okay? What if I'm wrong? Okay, what if I'm wrong? What if it actually turns out right? What if it actually turns out better than I expected? Apply for the job, pitch the idea, speak up in the meeting, test your predictions. So when you're spiraling about a future performance review or project outcome, bring yourself back. That hasn't happened yet. What can I control right now? Focus on your actual work instead of managing an imaginary future. What if you spent all that time that you were fortune telling on getting organized, using AI to help you build better systems? Okay. You get everything squared away, and it's your best month yet. Everything is working. You got everything scheduled, and it's going pew, pew, pew. And your boss is just like, oh, this is amazing. But we're praying that because of your organization and your systems, that your bosses say, oh, you can take on more work. No, 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 no. No, no, no. That's not the case. Okay, that's not the case. We are just staying in the moment. See, I just fortune told right now. But we're staying in the moment. And we're saying, I'm going to keep a log of all the times you predicted failure and what actually went fine and use it as evidence against future predictions. Okay? So show up as your best self at work and let the future happen when it happens. That's what I wanted to say. In your daily life, okay? When you're dreading an upcoming event and predicting it will be terrible, ask yourself, what if I just showed up and see what happens instead of deciding in advance? Go to the thing, go network, and notice what actually unfolds. Remind yourself, I have survived 100% of my worst days so far. I can handle what comes. So there'll be more notes on Substack from this episode because this is a long one, but it's beautiful to be able to go through these cognitive distortions one by one and really pick away at them because I really wasn't going to do each um, cognitive distortion. What I was going to do is just talk about all of them in one thing. That was going to be like a 2-hour episode, and I think they needed their own thing. So I'm glad you stuck with me to the end. I will have some more resources on Substack as well, but Remember, you are not a fortune teller, okay? Your life purpose was not to be a fortune teller. You can't see the future, and thank God for that, okay? Because the future you predict are almost always worse than what actually happens. When you stop living in imaginary disasters and start showing up for what's actually in front of you, everything shifts. You get to try things without the weight of predetermined failure. You get to have conversations without scripting the worst case endings. You get to create. You get to risk. You get to hope and let yourself be surprised. So here's a challenge. Do one of the activities, okay? Be your best friend or notice one prediction you made about something that hasn't yet happened yet. Write it down. Then let yourself find out what actually happens instead of deciding in advance. I bet you'll be surprised. I bet you'll be like, damn, Justin was right. You know, I do be sabotaging. You do. It's fine. It's fine. I'm still your friend. Okay. So until next time, remember the future is unwritten. You don't have to narrate the tragedy before it has a chance to be something. You've got this. I'll see you next week. Until next time, keep adjusting. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.